The purpose of this tutorial is to teach you how to create a STL file. And STL files are the type of file that our 3D printers can understand, so that you can 3D print some really cool stuff as part of your design project. And for this tutorial, we're going to be 3D printing this chess piece that you can see on the screen right now. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to open up a new document, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get an image off the internet. So I put in Rook chess piece started view, and I came up with this one here. So don't get anything too complicated, because what we're going to be doing now is just tracing over the geometries that already exist. Okay, so now I'm going to come into my Fusion. I'm going to come up to Insert, drop down menu, and I'm going to select Canvas. I'm going to choose Insert from my computer, and it was the Rook PNG. It doesn't matter if it's a PNG or a JPEG. PDFs don't work. And I'm pressing OK, and so that's the image I've selected. It wants to know which face I want to put it on, and I'm going to put it on that one there. Okay, you just need to make sure that your opacity is set to 50%, and you're good to go. All right, now you can see at the moment that that is pretty small. So we're going to come over to our drop down menu on the left hand side in the browser, and we're going to right click on that image and bring up calibrate. So I'm going to look at this. I'm using my view cube. I'm going to click on right, and I'm going to zoom in. So we need to make sure that these are pretty small, so that A, it doesn't take so long, and B, so it doesn't use up loads of the 3D printing filament. So I want the base to be 40 millimeters. So you can see at the moment it's 4, so that's like tiny. So I'm making that 40 millimeters along the base, and now that's good. So now I'm going to create my sketch, and I'm going to choose that plane there. And the one thing that we do need to make sure is that we're going to go from that corner there across straight, and I'm going to put in 20, which is half of the width of that base. And then from here I'm going to draw a line of symmetry, because we're not going to be tracing all the way around. We're going to be using the revolve tool. Okay, so now I'm just going to quickly go around, and I'm going to trace over those geometries. Notice how that little X popped up, and have a zoom in there. I accidentally hit the green button there, doesn't matter, I've just pressed L on my keyboard. There we go. I'm going to press enter because I want to use the spline tool. Create drop down menu, come to spline, fit point spline. Make sure you get that little square to show that it's snapped onto the end of the previous line, and we're going to come down and just come and trace over like that. Let's just zoom in like that. Okay, and then round like that, and to there, and press enter to come out of that. And I'm going to use a line snapping onto the end there, and I'm just going to make this a little bit modified. Okay, I don't know if you saw what I did there, but I wanted to make sure that it was going to come to the end of that line. So I went down to it, and I came back up, and you can just about see underneath that dimension lead line that there's a dotted blue line. That tells me that that is connected or in line with that one there. And I also know I've got a closed profile because it turns, or it fills in that color there. All right, so now I can finish my sketch. Boom, and I'm going to come to here on my ribbon, revolve tool, or create drop down menu and revolve tool there. So it asks me for a profile, and that's the profile I want, but it's already selected. It kind of knows what I want to do. And then the axis is that line that I drew there, and then it revolves round. And we can see now that we have, and I can come over here, I can turn off the visibility of that canvas because I don't need it. One last thing. Certainly if you're using the resin printer, and you'll use that later on, maybe year 11, year 12, if you use the resin printer, it will print this solid because that's how you've drawn it. The FDM 3D printers do hollow them out, but it's always good practice to draw things exactly how you want them to be. So I'm going to go ahead and hollow this out, and that can be found on my ribbon, and I want to hollow it out from the bottom. So that's the face, and I want an inside thickness of just 1 millimeter. Boom! So now you can see that that is hollow inside. So now we've got our chess piece, which is almost ready for us to 3D print. What I need to do before that is to come over to my ribbon and all the way along to the utilities, and we see the little 3D printer icon. We're going to select that. We need to tell it what we want to export as an STL file, so we just click on that. You can see selection, it's picked up one. We can leave all of this for default, but when we get to send to 3D printer, we're going to uncheck that, press OK, and it asks us for a name, and it's now saving it as an STL. We can't 3D print this at the moment because we need to convert it to G code, and we needed to convert it to the G code that our Prusa 3D printers understand. So you all have Prusa Slicer pushed onto your laptops. So we want to select that and open up that software. Okay, and then from here we want to go to File, we want to go to Import STL, and it should be there in my downloads. This is where I saved it. The chess piece is there. Boom. All right, this isn't the best way for us to 3D print it on its side, so we are going to rotate it, and we're going to rotate it like that, and then I'm going to press this icon here, which makes it sit on the plate. Okay, so far so good. Then we come over to print settings, and we go to skirt and brim. Okay, that's good. Support material, it's all selected. So you want to make sure under support material all of these are ticked, and skirt and brim, just copy the settings that I've got, 2 mil, 2 mil. Okay, and infill, what we've got here is fine as well. Or fill pattern, we can go for honeycomb is okay. Yeah. All right, then we come back to our platter, and then bottom right hand corner, slice now. So now converts that solid geometry and builds up in slices, which is how it is 3D printed. And it tells us that even that small item is going to take 2 hours and 23 minutes. All right, so, and if we zoom in, we can see we've got our build platform there, and you've got to see the layers there, so we can go. Alright, and here we scroll down so you can see this is how it's going to 3D print our item, layer by layer by layer. That's pretty cool. Last thing to do, export as G code. This is where you need to save it onto the SD card. And once you've got an SD card, your teacher will show you how to open that up on the Prusa 3D printers and how to print it. Have fun!